Reece, well played. A real battle of a London derby. That you're pretty proud on the whole of the way you pushed them to the limit today.
Yeah, it's obviously disappointing, to come away with only 1 point. We went down to 10 men pretty early in the game, and that made it difficult. I felt, we had a lot more of the ball when it was 11v11, and going down to 10 made it more difficult.
Yeah, and God, that really says something that you stood here disappointed against a team like that, given that they had that man advantage for so long. Does that tell you about the progress you've made?
No, I think everyone can see, where we are, what we're fighting for. I think today was, a big statement. Even though we wanted to win, there's lots of positives to take from that. How
were you able to give them so many problems tactically in that first sort of 30, 40 minutes before obviously Caicedo got the red card?
No, we worked hard. There's a lot of analysis and hard work from the managing staff that sets us up the right way and wants us to play and perform in a certain way that he thinks will hurt them.
Physically, in that midfield particularly, did it feel like a game on the edge? Looking from the sideline, it almost felt like a red card was maybe inevitable in that match.
I mean, if you look at the amount of yellows there were, I thought there was going to be one more red. There was so many.
Even after Caicedo, yeah.
Yeah, there was maybe 7 or 8 players on yellows throughout both teams.
Why do you think that was?
Oh, it's a London derby.
Right.
Everyone wants to win this game. Is
daft question.
Yeah.
How did you enjoy the battle in that midfield? There was a time where it was, maybe last season, unusual to see you in there, but now, look, I'm going to give you the Player of the Match award in a minute or two. So you're able to match top players and run a game now. No,
I think Arsenal are, they've been at the top for the last few years. Playing them is, we knew it wasn't going to be easy, and field is, it was tough, but we done what we could today and tried to play our game and hurt them off the ball.
Yeah. Did you get a view of the red card for Moises?
No, I haven't seen it back, so no, I have no comment on that.
Fine. What did the manager say at half time about reshaping you?
No, he changed, the formation slightly. We knew we wasn't, going to have the ball as much, and they was going to come, and we had to, soak up the pressure and try and catch them, on the counter, which we did a few times, but we didn't have the final touches.
Yeah, and as you said already, though, despite the disappointment, a statement performance matching them like that.
Yeah, I think I'm proud of the boys. It was electric. Here at Stamford Bridge today, and we take a point and move forward.
Well done, Reece. You are, as I said earlier, the player.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done, mate.
Yes, well done to Reece James, player of the match today. How?
Well, and so against the team that's top of the league, with a man less for a lot of it, what do you think you showed today?
I think we showed that we are in the right direction again. I always said the same because I really think that we go in the right direction. The performance has been, I just said, the players, for me has been fantastic. We were much better team than them, 11v11. And then with 10 players, it's more difficult. But the way they deal with that situation has been outstanding.
So how did you achieve that? How did you manage to be the better team, 11 against 11? Tell us a bit about the game plan.
But I think it's been quite clear that 11v11 we were better than them.
But what did you do to make yourselves better than them?
We just try to exploit the best solution, the best space, the best situation. We knew that probably the space was for Malo, Estevao in that side. The way we prepared the game, I think worked quite well. And again, but overall, I think tonight we can be happy, even if we didn't win.
What did you make of the red card? Pretty clear?
I think red card is red card, to be honest. The only thing that I struggle to understand is the different way to judge, because what about Bentancur against Reece? If you remember, when we play away, it's exactly the same foul. So for me tonight was red card, and also that one. Why once is red card, once is not red card? It's just this difference that sometimes you struggle to assess and to understand.
So you struggle a little bit with that VAR intervention when it does and when it doesn't?
I think it's red card. It's clear that it's red card tonight, but was also clear the other 2 games ago, 3 games ago. But why the difference? This is the only thing that sometimes you are there and say, oh, but it's what it is.
Moises Caicedo looked really fired up from the early part of that match. Is that just a case of it being a London derby? Do you think he was sort of wanting to prove himself against Declan Rice or anything like that? What do you think it was?
I think Mo is always in the same way. It's top player for us. Probably the desire from him was the desire from all the players to try to do our best and win the game.
It was, would you agree, a really physical derby match, perhaps as we should expect?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's football. It's between Chelsea and Arsenal. So it's completely normal.
When you had 10 men, it didn't particularly look like you had 10 men. They had obviously more of the ball, but you were able to stay in the game. What was, your method, your approach? How did you stay in the game as you did with 10? Obviously, you even went in front.
Yeah, first of all, you have to double the effort. That is the most important thing. And then in terms of, on the ball, we didn't change a lot, for sure. With 10 players, every time Robert has the ball, we try to go with the Liam. While in a normal situation, we always try to build, short. But then in open play, the idea was exactly the same.
I remember, I actually spoke to you about this on Friday. Around this time last year, you were going great, and you said, we're not quite ready. Mm-hmm. Now, seeing that, are you ready?
I think it was exactly the same, what I said days ago in the press conference. Yeah. I think that we are better team compared to last season. We are more close, and then we see where we are in February, March, and then from there we decide our target.
Okay, so it's possible that you could compete.
We are there.
Thank you, Enzo.
Thank you.
Feelings about the performance and the result?
Well, on one hand, disappointed because we didn't win, and obviously, when you wear this T-shirt, you want to win every game. But on the other hand, we know this is going to be a long season. This is a really tough stadium to come, and well, we take the point. Obviously, we could have done things better, but I think the team showed good mentality coming back from that goal.
What are your thoughts specifically on what you could have done better? 11 against 11 and then playing 10 men.
Yeah, maybe managing the game a little bit better, understanding what they were trying to do, how they were pressing, the spaces they were freeing for us, and trying to attack those maybe in the first half when they were going man-to-man so aggressively. And then with 10 men, a little bit more of patience with the ball. That doesn't mean complacency and playing like slow, but trying to find the wings and trying to elaborate a little bit more there to cross with players the box and try to threat a little bit more. Still, obviously, they're a good side, but I feel like the team did a good job today. We take the point, and obviously we keep going and let's win the next game.
Of course, they were down to 10 men because of a challenge on you. Can you just give us your view of that, and in the sort of the split seconds after it happened, were you worried about your safety? Did you feel like maybe you were seriously injured?
Well, I felt my ankle go all the way, but luckily I have very mobile ankles and body, so yeah, I wasn't concerned about my save, but obviously I knew it was a horrible challenge and it was going to be a red card straight away.
Have you spoken to him since?
No,
not even up as you come down the tunnel at full time?
No,
fair enough. You responded, they went ahead, you got the goal. Great bit of wing play from Saka. Just tell us about your thinking there with your movement, because you do have that knack of getting a big goal.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we train every day, trying to position yourself in the right areas, trying to be in the blind side of the centre back so they cannot have your reference, and then attack the ball in the highest point possible. Obviously, when you train with each other every day, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, and yeah, B knows that I'm always there, and just cross the perfect ball. It was just tapping in.
Just going back to the physicality of it, why was it such a fractious game? Why was it a game on the edge, and obviously in one instance it went over the edge? Why was it that type of contest?
I mean, this is Premier League. This is a really strong league. Every team is very strong in every duel, and that's why you can see so many transitions. If you win a duel, if you win a second action, you can get yourself attacking the box. And today, I think we weren't at our best. We know when we're at our best, we are controlling the game much more. So that's I think that's why you saw a game with so many transitions and change of position.
Thank you. Well played.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Very interesting thought.
Mikel, a real full-blooded derby for sure. What do you make of it as a contest, firstly?
Yeah, a really tough one. I think two teams that they play with a lot of intensity, aggression, will. You could sense that in every tackle, in every action, how much it was at stake. So that made it a game that in the beginning, especially the first 20 minutes, you could not see much, especially in any long sequences of play. And then the game started to settle, and yeah, after the red card, when we needed to, settle, make the adjustment at halftime, in the first action straight after the halftime, we concede a foul, a wide free kick, and then a corner, and concede a goal.
Did you expect the sort of physically intense game we got? I mean, right from that first challenge, I think the first foul was Cucurella on Saka, and it didn't let up really from there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, what made you expect that? Just the fact it's a London derby?
I mean, what is at stake? I mean, two top teams fighting for the Premier League, so it's normal.
What problems did they give you tactically, 11 against 11?
The same that we gave to them. The moment that someone finds a superiority, a free play with the space and man-to-man, you have to track back. So it's clear on all the direct balls and second balls and who wins that duel.
At half-time, what did you say to your players, and how near the top of the list was don't get a red card now, especially with them down to 10?
Yeah, so we had 4 players with yellow cards, and you could see that they were targeting those players to get the game even, and probably stay away from that. The one probably with biggest risk, it was Ricky. That's why I had to take him out against Estebao or Neto, that he could come in and look for him. We've done that, but we didn't really settle, because the first action in the second half, long ball, they get a foul, wide free kick, corner, and a score. And then emotionally, you need to get through that. And it took us a while to get set, to get fixed, to be much more patient than we were in certain moments, to move them, to generate the spaces, and then we scored a brilliant goal. And then, yeah, we had 2 or 3 big chances, but the reality is every time that the keeper catches the ball, they were in transition.
Were you upset then by the way you conceded a goal, a near post corner that you guys are the masters of?
Yeah, well, especially with the first free kick, that the way we concede that and this, but yeah, it's a really good team. They score 7 goals now. In corners, we score 8. So you can tell that they need those goals as well.
We saw the reaction of the bench to the challenge of Caicedo on Merino. Just give us your reaction to it. Were you genuinely, when you saw that, worried about his physical condition?
Well, it was really fast in the beginning. No, I saw the reaction, and it was all the players' staff. He's off, and then Anthony made a call, and I think it's the right one.
Yeah. Overall, then, Mikel, do you feel like maybe today, after 2 really good performances, the injuries, maybe the schedule you've had, the opponents you've had, maybe took something out of the performance today?
It was a lot of factors to this context. As you said, it's been a massive week emotionally, physically. The opponents that we play, we come here, we lost another 2 very important players before coming here. We had 1 day less to recover as well, to come here. And then you have to play at Stamford Bridge, that they just beat Barcelona, one of the best teams in Europe. So you're playing a tough opponent. And we knew, especially for certain part of the game, what kind of game we were going to expect. But yeah, with 10 men, I expect, and I want obviously to win the game, but we have to consider that straight after the second half they are in front, and then emotionally it's tough to play the game.
Yeah, and I guess like we in the media fluctuated. The early season it was, Arsenal under pressure. Then it's Arsenal are going to streak away with the league, but I guess you just stay level and you don't react too much to those fluctuations, the noise around you.
No, because we have another game on Wednesday, and what we have to do is prepare now really well against a tough opponent like Brentford to beat them at home. And the next one is on Saturday against Aston Villa, so we know what's coming.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brentford and Villa.
And that next game is Brentford at home on Wednesday. And the positive, as he says, they did find a way from going 1 down when they were shocked.
Yeah, they did. And you'd like to think that Arsenal would find a way, especially going down to 10 men, the form they've shown up to this point this season, even coming off of 2 big games, but that's what happens when you're going to try and win the league. You've got all of the games are big now, and the teams you're going to play, they know it's a big game for them as well. I thought that Chelsea looked very dangerous. And with 11 men, I think that would have been a very, very tough game for us. But you have to be happy with a point away from home, because, again, all that does is then puts a bit more pressure on the home game that's coming that you have to win.
He was a little bit too aggressive, but he wanted to get the ball. As you can see, the tackle is down to the ground, to the foot, to where the ball was. Merino has been brilliant to, just deliver the ball quickly, and probably he was put off by this.
But overall, Chelsea have restricted Arsenal to their least efforts in a game in the Premier League since October 24 there. With 10 men.
Yeah, I was listening to what Merino said. It's, I think that was the key of the game. You expect that when a team goes down to 10 men and the other opposition is Arsenal, the Arsenal has more control of the game, putting more pressure with building up action after action. Chelsea didn't allow that. They just stopped the Arsenal over controlling the game, and also they were dangerous on counter. So I think that has been the key. It's a very mature performance from Chelsea, because I don't think that there will be many teams that they can do to Arsenal in those conditions the same thing.
Yeah, he had a good afternoon. Chelsea only the second team to stop Arsenal winning in any competition since the 24th of September, with 10 men from 38 minutes onwards. I mean, he's calling it a statement result for Chelsea.
It is, indeed. I said the value of the opposition and the type of performance that the team played. Particularly, James was excellent. I think he's adapting to the position better and better. He's more comfortable. But today he had such an energy that I didn't see at the times. He was a lot of energy, a lot of quality. Very, very, very good. I think he was an example for everyone.
For him personally now, he just needs to stay fit, doesn't he? Because we know what a good player he is, and just get that run of games.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't doubt his quality. We don't doubt his football intelligence. It's just about, being able to play longer without getting injured. That is the only concern about him. And also, he's a player, as we said, we were talking with Ian before, whether I like him more as a midfielder or as a right back. I used to like him more as a right back, but now I'm reconsidering.
Interesting. And he actually took the corner for Chelsea's goal.
Yeah.
But before we see that, it actually came from a David Raya save, which when we look at it wasn't going in. But obviously David Raya doesn't know that at the time.
You know what, when you watch it, he kind of seems to get a little bit discombobulated, coming there, then changing his mind. So then it's kind of lost maybe the shape where the goal is. But yeah, you can see it's clearly missing there. And, obviously, they score from it. But you can't really look too deeply into that, simply because you can never quite tell as a goalkeeper exactly where you are. You just feel like you have to make the save. But it's good movement from Trevor Chalobah. But again, it all comes down to, as Gianfranco will attest to, the quality of the ball in.
The delivery is excellent.
Fantastic.
Absolutely excellent. Also, he's delivering in the most dangerous area.
Yeah.
Normally, I think there is a percentage in free corner kicks. The majority of the goals are scored on the first post or the nearby. And there was an example.
And that was Chelsea's first corner of the game.
Yeah.
Second time, Arsenal conceded from one in the Premier League this season.
But again, even against Tottenham as well, Tottenham are not bad at them as well. Chelsea are very good at them. But I think the main thing with this particular game, as from the boys' point of view, is that they'll be disappointed because they did go down to 10 men and they know what it's going to take to try and finish this off. But I think with the two centre-halves missing, two new centre-halves coming in, playing against the Chelsea side, I think if it was 11 men, I think it would have been a really tough game, even tougher. I think they would have had more possession. They might have caused us more problems. But I think you take that and you move on again, especially with the week they've had.
Yeah, as I say, they led for just 11 minutes. Mikel Merino scores some important goals, doesn't he, for us?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does, because he's got a brilliant and uncanny, not even an uncanny knack, he does that. He gets in the box. And the thing is, when he gets in there, Steve, he's finishing and he's heading. It's all on point. It's all precise. Saka does well. Obviously Cucurella should know he's coming back on his left foot, but it's the way that Merino, if you watch where he is there, Fofana is, for me, as a defender, central defender, he leaves him now and he's now ball watching and he's hoping that the ball doesn't get put into a good position instead of making sure that he's back another yard for Fofana, because another yard he's able to maybe flick it away or something. But great movement from Merino arriving into the box again, and that's what he does so well for us.
Yeah, I think Saka's ball was brilliant,
super,
first of all.
Super.
But yeah, I agree. I mean, that is they get attracted by the ball. They stop ball watching and lose the opposition who is going behind them. And it happens so often. It's such a common. If it was probably an Italian coach, he would be fuming or something like that. A defender that loses his man in the box is not acceptable.
Is that the fine line of concentration sometimes in a big game like that? That can be the difference.
It is. But it's very, very important. It's one of the things that the Italian coaches, they're very strict on. The defender, when the ball is on the left, one eye has to be there, but the body doesn't have to be square towards the ball. You have to have a body open, and you have to be watching the ball, but above all, the opposition. It's the opposition who's going to score, not the ball. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Your man that cannot get the ball, whether the ball is delivered to the first post, the second post, or to the middle, your man doesn't have to touch the ball. Stop.
Mikel Merino's 10th goal for club and country this season. Right at the end, you were out of your chair when that ball went in.
Well, I think that with this one, it's just, you know, I'm thinking like Gyökeres is going to... Is this the Gyökeres chance?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, you know, he's going to... If it's me, ESC, I'm screaming so loud, anyone in front of me is going to cringe or going to drop out. That's what I've always been told. You have to shout, let them know that you're coming, because then Timber moves his head out of the way and Gyökeres just comes in and gets a clean header, free header. I'll be devastated with that. You know what I mean? He's got to let him know. He has to let him know when that's coming in. Victor Gyökeres has got to let Jira Timber know that I'm coming, because that's a massive opportunity missed.
So he finished 1-1 then at Stamford Bridge. We're going to persevere, aren't we?
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, everybody. Look, the red card, Enzo Maresca said he didn't have a problem with it. He had more of a problem with consistency on previous decisions. But when you look at the Caicedo challenge, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at the angle he challenges at as well, and also just understanding why he's going in for the challenge initially anyway. So I just want to highlight where the two players are initially now. So if we just stop it now, and we're looking at the two players, Caicedo and Merino. Caicedo doesn't see him. Yeah, he doesn't. All he's focused on, really, is that, and rightly so. As now, I just don't know why he gets involved. He's got his mate coming out as well at centre-back.
So Chalobah would have Merino covered there?
Yes, he's stepping out there. But this happens a lot with Caicedo. Listen, he's brilliant. He's fantastic. Brilliant at winning the ball back. But he ends up in some really strange positions when he's making tackles. Now, he ends up with a situation now as he comes across. And I'm not just talking about the nature of the tackle, but he's actually now facing his own goal to make a tackle against Merino. Now, forget the colours of the shirts. If we just put everybody in a black shirt, you'd think Caicedo's team were attacking that way.
Yeah, he would, yeah.
But that again comes from the angle. He doesn't need to get involved in that tackle. Chalobah's stepped out with him. His man were there, but again, he's got this sort of...
He was pumped up today, wasn't he?
He was really pumped up. I think we saw that right from the start of the game. I think the whole talk this week of, Rice v Caicedo, understandably so, maybe got to him a little bit. It's a huge game. And he's ended up getting himself in a challenge. Yes, it's a red card. But where he comes from, the angle of the challenge is just daft to get involved in a tackle like that. He doesn't need to. We've looked at it again. It's just above the ankle, and when the ankle buckle a little bit, I think that's always a sort of a real giveaway for VAR to make sure that they give the red card.
It's his first red card for Chelsea. He is actually going to be suspended for the first game of the World Cup next year because he got 2 yellows in the qualifier, unless he gets a visit to the White House, and then maybe that might change for the opening game of the World Cup. Who knows? But when you look at him domestically, he makes more fouls to tackles than most other players in the Premier League. Now, is that youth and all-action style and something that may change?
I hope it changes. Yeah, because listen, he's a brilliant player. He wins the ball back fantastically well. But I think he does have a tendency, and I'm quite surprised, really. It's only you mentioned his first red card. I remember a challenge, I think, in the Carabao Cup final in Gravenberch a couple of years ago as well. And I don't think it's because he's so much a nasty player. I think at times he can look clumsy. and some of the angles he comes in with the challenges. And that was a case in point, really, where he ends up facing his own goal to win a challenge when basically he's got someone else coming behind him and he just doesn't need to get involved. So he's just got to be careful with that. But as I said, he's a fantastic player, but he definitely needs to learn from that. And I'm sure the manager, if he's come out and said it was, you know, a definite red card, that's really good to hear. And I'm sure he'll speak to him.
It's not often, is it, at the moment, when we analyse set pieces in a game involving Arsenal, that they're on the receiving end of it. And we're going to look at the first goal that Chelsea scored, the only goal that Chelsea scored, which is Trevor Chalobah from this corner.
Yeah. And as I said, we don't talk about Arsenal so much. It was something we highlighted last season, actually, that they had a little bit of a problem defending set pieces, not so much scoring, as we know. But Chalobah, who I actually think has been outstanding for Chelsea this season, I speak at times about maybe a lack of a top centre-back, but he's been excellent this season. He's involved with Timber there as well. And it feels like a lot of the Arsenal players are actually more concerned with stopping a man than actually going to win the ball. I think Timber's the same, and I think Maresca here at the back post, he seems obsessed with Enzo, rather than just trying to head the ball out. You know, he is on the line at the back post. But what I would say is I think Chelsea deserved that. And what was really interesting in the game is Chelsea have got really good experience, unfortunately, of going down to 10 men. But we've been critical this season of how Maresca's gone about it, going with 10 men. We've mentioned going to a back five, I think, at Manchester United. I think certain substitutions at home to Brighton as well. But in this one, they still had a threat going forward. In even later in the game as well.
And his substitutions were like for like as well, weren't they? I mean, Garnacho for Esteval, Delap came on for João Pedro. So as you say, it's not like they retreated. They tried to stay on the front foot.
Yeah, as I said, if you go through Maresca's time at Chelsea, you think of the Club World Cup as well, maybe the end of last season as well, there was a couple of red cards for Jackson. They've never really got positive results. We all know it's tough, but you shouldn't get beat every time you go down to 10 men. And today's a case in point. They're playing against the best team in the country, and they've got a 1-1 draw, and it was fully deserved.
As far as the equaliser that they conceded?
Yeah, I think he'll be disappointed with this, and the reason being why is, if you're going to lose a goal when the opposition have got the extra man, you want it to be for that reason that they've got the extra man. And it wasn't really the case, because football is a numbers game. And when we look at the situation now, when the ball comes in the box eventually, you'd expect this, Arsenal to have decent possession, build up into the attacking third. But this is where it changes. And I just want to highlight this battle here. So what you've got is, you've got Fofana, Merino.
Yeah.
Okay? So he's the goal scorer. Fofana's up against him now. I just want to roll it on very slowly. And as the ball comes to Saka, obviously we know does well with the ball, but if I just stop it now, yes, Arsenal have got an extra player, but Arsenal have got 6 players in this picture.
Yeah.
Chelsea have got 9, including the goalkeeper. So this has nothing to do with
being
Arsenal.
Overloaded,
no,
yeah.
It's not. So I think when Maresca looks back at this and the Chelsea defenders look back at this, I think they'd be really disappointed to concede a goal in this situation, because what you end up getting is this.
It worked.
It worked. We got there.
We got.
But what you've got is a 3v3.
Yeah.
That's going to happen 11v11. So I think he'd be disappointed that they've conceded this goal like this. But he just gets the better of Cucurella, which was something Yamal couldn't do in the week. But Merino, listen, what a role he plays in this team. It's absolutely fantastic, isn't it, the role that he plays? A goal scorer, a box crasher, if you like. He's always in there with his head. Does really well. And you just, from there, you think Arsenal are going to go on and win the game, because as we've seen there, as the ball goes in, Merino runs and gets the ball. He's trying to get the kick off quickly because they want to go on and win the game.
It's also that. It's also for a man who isn't a natural centre forward, it's to pull off Fofana. And those natural centre forwards always would tell me, as soon as you can see your opponent's number, you know you've got them.
Well, it's really interesting, and I've said this before, but not about him. I've said this before about Havertz. I actually have always thought if Havertz was fully fit, he'd be the centre forward in this team, maybe not Gyökeres. Gyökeres came on today and was probably disappointed he didn't get the winner. I think Timber took one right off his head at the end. It'd be really interesting how long it takes before Mikel Arteta puts him fully back into the team, or he sticks with Merino in that position, because he's been absolutely outstanding with when Gyökeres has been out.
I mean, they had a really interesting discussion in the studio after that, Theo and Daniel Sturridge, about whether that is Arsenal missing an opportunity. So on the one hand, they've got a point away in a London derby against a side who will be there or thereabouts, but they were down to 10 men. So which side of the fence would you fall on there?
I wouldn't say Arsenal were sort of negative, and that's been something thrown at Mikel Arteta over the last few years when they've been going for the title. I mean, you look at the substitutions he made, Miles Lewis-Skelly coming on a half-time. I know Calafiori was on a yellow card, but again, he's going into midfield. Odegaard comes on, Gyökeres comes on. They threw everything at it. But I just felt as the game was getting to sort of the last 5 or 6 minutes, Chelsea was still a threat. So as a manager, if they'd have lost that wouldn't have just been losing a point. Psychologically, to lose against 10 men in a London derby, I think would have been a big blow. You've seen the Arsenal players at the end of the game. They looked a little bit deflated, but it's not a bad point. And I think it's not so much about giving criticism to Arsenal for not going on to win the game. I think we should credit Chelsea, who thought were outstanding with 10 men.
OK, it still gives Arsenal a buffer at the top of the table.
This is Sport Lab Channel bringing you full post-match reaction from Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea and Arsenal played out a dramatic 1-1 draw. A red card, 2 second-half goals, and a relentless battle for control defined a derby that delivered tension from the first whistle to the last. Chelsea were forced to play more than 50 minutes with 10 men, yet they stood firm to deny Arsenal the chance to move 7 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Here is how the action unfolded. The evening exploded into controversy in the 38th minute. Moses Caicedo was dismissed after VAR-advised referee Anthony Taylor to review a challenge deemed to involve excessive force. Chelsea were reduced to 10 men, and with 5 yellow cards already shown across both teams, the half ended with the sense that the contest was about to shift dramatically. But within 3 minutes of the restart, it was the 10-man Blues who struck first. From a simple corner routine, Reece James curled a ball toward the near post, and Trevoh Chalobah glanced a superb header into the far corner. Stamford Bridge erupted as Chelsea took a shock 1-0 lead. Arsenal, however, responded with authority. In the 59th minute, Bukayo Saka isolated Cucurella, delivered a perfectly weighted ball into the 6-yard box, and Mikel Merino arrived with a towering header to level the score. Another big impact from Arsenal's makeshift striker and another crucial goal in the title race. Both sides pushed for a winner, and despite being a man down, Chelsea defended in numbers and broke forward with purpose. Arsenal controlled possession but could not find a second breakthrough. When the final whistle sounded, the result confirmed a third consecutive draw between these sides at Stamford Bridge. Arsenal leave disappointed, having failed to widen their lead at the top. Chelsea, though, will take confidence from a resilient, collective performance that saw them survive more than a half of football against the league leaders with 10 men. That concludes Sport Lab's coverage of a fiercely contested London derby that ended Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. A match filled with turning points, discipline tests, and tactical adjustments leaves the Premier League title picture tighter than it could have been. Join us next time as we continue to bring you reactions, breakdowns, and analysis from the biggest games across Europe. This is Sport Lab Channel, signing off.